Remembering what it used to be.
Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
Woo! I had to test my typing skills, Ryan. I was trying to get some stuff out, and I was like,
you did it. Great job.
High WPM.
Okay.
What's up? Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year. We're back. Still at it.
We're still here. Happy New Year to everybody that is jumping on. We're streaming to multiple destinations. We got Instagram Live tonight. We've got Twitter rolling, or X, excuse me, and all the other places we usually are at. So good stuff. If you're watching from any of those obscure, we got 4 on X right now, which is higher for us. We're doing good.
Boy, them X's are popular.
If you're watching over there on Twitter/X, please comment. I want to see if it works. It's supposed to show the comments on this thing tonight. So
somebody just got booted off Instagram. Dale Griffin. Yeah.
Damn it, Dale.
It's all right.
What have you done to us? Regardless, we're trying.
This is the future of kayak fishing. I saw on my Instagram notification.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought this was like the ghost of Christmas past is what we were doing here.
So if you guys saw the thumbnail for the show announcement, we're bringing on some guys that have been around the sport for a while. They've all been on the show before at one time or another. Great guys, great anglers, and fun guests to have. So we're going to talk about where we've come from in kayak fishing and where we're going.
And in some respect, they built it. They have built what we have now. So that was kind of the target of why we selected these gentlemen.
And there it is, Jason Robinson on X, first X comment ever on the live stream. So there you go. We're big time. So yeah, we're going to talk about things they've seen over the years, and then of course what they expect coming down the pipe. This last week before the new year, we got a lot of chatter on the page after the AJ show, and then we put the recorded show up. Motors, it's like it's 2019 all over again with motors.
I don't know. I don't know. We got a lot of people with their heads deep in the sand if they think that Hobie allowing motors is the first the first series that's allowed motors on kayaks. Like, this is a battle that happened 5 years ago. So
yeah. It seemed like that's what it felt like. Like this was like the first time it ever happened.
It's crazy to me. And a lot of it are people that don't even fish the Hobie series at all, but yet they're upset now that this series allows people to enjoy fishing.
Yeah, but as usual, it did produce some fantastic memes, some other good combos. So it was funny. And then this week there were some more good memes. I saw Chase Tanner reappeared on KBN.
Chase and Jim Clark have both really came out of retirement here to kick off the new year. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, Chase went to the AI model to try to recreate some pro kayak anglers. That was pretty funny.
I feel like he only put in like one picture or two and got all those drummed up.
Yeah, it was good. There was nowhere, no share. AI apparently not a fan of PFDs, but otherwise it was still funny.
You know, they're hot sometimes.
Yeah. We're not going to keep our guests waiting long, but I do have to explain myself a little bit tonight, Ryan, because I know you've been bothered all week.
Buddy, I've been needing your explanation for days now.
Yeah. And I've gotten some messages as well, as you can imagine. if you guys notice something conspicuously absent from the KBN page this year, there was an announcement and or the results for the KBN power rankings that we've done for several years. Or I shouldn't say we. I put them out.
It's Jeff. It's all Jeff.
I put them out. Ryan doesn't want any blame for that. However, I didn't do them this year, and some people were mad about that in the DMs anyway. And I'll explain to you why I didn't do them. Anything I do in life, usually is it worth the effort to do? And this year, I didn't think it was, because I feel like the trails have consolidated to where all the, quote, major competition is within 2 trails. It's Hobie and Bass. I mean, that's just the way it is. Yep. The other trails, All-American didn't take off like we thought. It may get there next year. KBF has shrunk overall, attendance-wise. So to have the actual numbers to pull from to do large events, to do the rankings, all I had to do was look at the AOI standings from AOI from Bass. You could average it out and see who the best anglers are. So, I mean, I didn't think it was really worth it. You can look right there at the AOI and see who the best folks are.
Yep.
Now, if I had to just say like a coach's poll, like who would you say is your highest ranked guy? I know who I'd pick this year.
I mean, I think for the Hobie series, Ewing just dominated. I don't think there's an argument, on that side. Obviously, Russ won the Bass AOY, but that was a much tighter race. Ewing kind of just ran off with the BOS series.
Yeah, and if I had to pick my number one angler for the year, I'd throw my vote to Ewing as well, just because he really didn't have a stinker of an event. Me and Coles were good event, right?
Yep, he definitely got it this year.
Yes, I'd give it to Ewing. I didn't run the numbers. My apologies if y'all enjoy it. It may make a comeback next year. Who knows? We just need some more series to rise up so it's a better computation rather than just copy and paste AOI.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah, there you go. Put your comments in there. I want to know who the people watching, who they would vote number one. Put it in the comments. We'll read those and see what we can come up with. Bob Baylor says Ewing and Jackson. That'd be a good vote. Good vote. The young man's game over there. Who's the Florida State of kayak anglers?
We don't know because he didn't do the power rankings this year. We usually do have a Florida State of kayak anglers who's pissed because they didn't make the top 10 or top 15, whatever they get upset about.
Yeah. So good stuff. Maybe I'll do a compilation of all the rankings I've done to this point and the all-time number one. Really piss people off. Hey, he's talking about Chad here.
All right, Bob.
We're not going to start the year like that, Bob. We're not going to start the year like that. I was going to talk football, but we won't do that. This is a kayak fishing show. It's the first show of the year.
Yeah, we got Jay Wallen on here too. We don't want to talk football.
Hey, Blake on Twitter. Wife surprised him with a Slayer Max for Christmas. Excited.
Hey, congrats.
That's a good present, Blake. Well done over there. Let's shout out the sponsors. We'll get these guests in here. Of course, 2024, the show is presented by ecofishingshop.com. Eco Fishing up on Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. So pumped that we got to partner with them kind of late in the year in 23, but it's going to be a big year with them in 24. And I don't want the year to fly by, but that Big Bass 250 is going to be, hopefully we can help it push that 250, Ryan. What do you think?
We need to make a big party out of that. And they ship everywhere. So if you need a kayak, call them. They'll get it to your house. That's
right. And they're killing it over on the, if you're watching live on Instagram, make sure you go follow their Instagram page. They do a great job. They've got a core group of young fellas over there running their social media, and they do a killer job with reels and YouTube shorts and all that stuff. So go check all that out over there on that page. Pro Guide Lithium, of course. I saw some rumors of some bad weather coming, so I was charging up my Pro Guides in case I needed to splice into them for backup power, man. You never know.
Run the dishwasher.
Right? Yeah, run the dishwasher, charge my phone so I can post memes, whatever. And I didn't really set up a giveaway for tonight. Should we do some glasses tonight, Ryan? What do you think?
We can, yeah. I saw a comment earlier needing sunglasses. The future's so bright, so we'll throw that in there.
All right, let's do a Revo giveaway tonight, where they're back with us again for 24. We've got some more sponsor announcements coming in the very near future, but we're still crossing some I's and dotting some T's, or whatever this thing is, right, Ryan?
Yeah, we're waiting on the cash man to come.
That's right. All right, with that said, let's get these guys in here and talk a little bit about kayak fishing. There they are. It's a big group tonight. I like that, though. Yeah, we can leave the banner up with this many people. Fellas, what's up?
Well, I'm the ghost from kayak fishing past the
I knew
line.
you would take that one personally as soon as I said it.
What happened to Duke? We said, "What's up, fellas?" And Duke said, "See ya." He bounced.
Duke's
He was
like,
on
I made
mute
my
too.
appearance, I'm out.
He seemed
Yeah.
upset about it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, guys, appreciate you taking the invite for this first show of the year. I know both of you have been on the show a couple of times. Jay, you may be in the running for like the most on here ever. I'm not sure. You've been on here quite a few times.
I'm just always available, man. You know what I mean?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate your receptiveness.
Anytime.
Anytime. Yeah. We've got some questions coming in. We're not going to rig the contest for you, Cody. We're not going to give you a pair of glasses. You got to win the deal. So like, share, and you can win some.
That's my little homie from St. Louis. We're trying to get him to get on the water in something. I don't really care if it's a kayak or not, but he's a bit of a faux cowboy, so it'd be interesting to get him out there and get him out there.
Did I hear that right? Folk out? What is that? What is that?
Well, I'll send you some pictures later. I can't really talk about it on air.
I think those are like the kids that went to my boys' high school that had jacked up trucks and boots and stuff, but never really did any cowboy stuff.
No, he's got a couple cows out there. He runs around. He does some of the PBR bucking bull stuff.
I understand.
He's a sweetheart.
Wait a minute. We got a Duke sighting. Duke, you back?
Sorry, guys.
That's all right. I thought we weren't going to get you at all. So if for 30 seconds, I'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it, man. But yeah, we appreciate you, man. So yeah, we wanted to have you guys on tonight to talk a little bit about where kayak fishing has been, of course, over the last decade or so, and then where we think it's going. So of course, I think Brian, we think we ought to go backwards first. Talk about where it's been.
Definitely go backwards. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we can go around the horn. I don't know where we want to start. Maybe we'll start with Duke since you just jumped in here. Not only are you an angler, but you have, and all of you guys have played a part in this in general, building this from the ground up. Texas is basically its own national trail at this point. It's been that way for several years. So talk about what you've seen growth wise, Texas and across the country from the tournament trail scene.
I've seen it growing, exponentially, growing from, starting out with 10, 20 guys, and now we're at, 100 each event. So it's been pretty cool to see it from the ground up. I literally had to start it from the ground up because where I was at, the Austin guys fished their own event and they didn't want to travel anywhere 50 miles, out of the way. So they just fished Austin. So we had to do our own thing. I drove down there and fished a couple of KB, the cats events. But other than that, man, we had to start our own thing and we just grew from there. We've done everything from, little index cards at the ramp and, to, submitting your SD cards, throwing in the bucket, how many fish you have. It's been pretty cool seeing it evolve.
I love the buckets. I miss the buckets. Yeah. Jay, you were part of growing bluegrass kayak anglers over there in Kentucky. You've also fished all over the country. What do you think about how far we've come from the days of SD cards and spoons and kayaks and stuff like that?
Man, you give me a lot more credit than I deserve for starters. AJ McWhorter just developed this thing out of thin air over here in Kentucky. But yeah, we used spoons for identifiers before, maybe even like ketchup packets or something. I'm not real sure what all we used. It is kind of wild though, man. Like I remember, people using digital cameras and you had to take a picture of your boat when you launched. Coming back to waiting in line to show the judge your pictures, and people handing over digital cameras and letting a judge look at the pictures. Even like this isn't that long ago, but the very first Hobie, it wasn't the Hobie Bass Open, but that's what it was. It was the Hobie Bass Open on Kentucky Lake. The very first one, if I recall, we had SD cards and you had to like put I think there could only be 3 pictures on there. You had to whittle it down and just put 3 on the card. And you turn it in a little Ziploc baggie, and then you come back in like 2-3 hours and, see what the judge ruled. But
did they write your total on the baggie?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, we did have like little cards. I remember there was little cards that went with your SD card in the bag, and so we didn't know we didn't have any other way to do it. Tourney X didn't exist. Like, you didn't submit anything on your on an app. That stuff just wasn't for us. It wasn't even a thought. So to be where we're at now in that very, very short amount of time, it's just kind of wild to see where it's gone. And I think you talk about motors and all this stuff. That stuff's been around. Like my dad had a custom made boat, and it's called Creek Boats, from a guy in South Carolina, and he's been making those things since like the 90s with little trouble motors on them and stuff, foot controlled, the whole 9 yards. So that stuff's not that new. I think the cell phone apps, the Tourney X, and then of course your forward-facing sonar, I think those are the biggest advances that we've made is in that direction as far as where we've been and where we're going.
And Marty, you've been kayak fishing since it was like, sealskin. Like, what did you guys used to measure with? Like slate and chisels? How'd y'all do that?
Oh man, right, that's good.
They use lengths of rope.
Yeah, I just saw the video of your kayak, Ryan, and I'm thinking, man, if you would have had that 25 years ago when we were starting out, you'd been a great guy.
Well, not anymore. I'm back of the pack. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So, the argument today is motors and whether we should use them and all this other stuff, but it's forward-facing sonar, of course. You know what the argument was back then? It was, well, can I use my tape measure? Or do I have to use this golden rule?
Yeah.
Really?
Real world problems.
And then it went to the hog trough versus the golden rule. And of course, then it went from hog trough to catchboard. So to me, the advances have been in the measuring part of it, that I've seen. And I've been through all of it, the disc and all that. But, we had a little checklist. You had a pencil and a baggie, and you would check off the fish you caught. And it was all honor system, the first term we had back in 2004. And I had no idea anybody else was even having a tournament. I just wanted to have one, and I didn't compete in them. For 9 years, I just put them on. Never fished a one. My kids fished in them. And then 2013 fished the first one, and that was, you recorded your stuff as well on there. And you took a picture by then at that time. But yeah, the biggest advancement, and also with the digital part of it, taking the pictures and all that, so it has come a long way. But I would say the last 5 years is where it's a blur to me. I'm having a hard time keeping up the technology part of it. Struggle like this year. I didn't get DQ'd, but I just couldn't get my pictures submitted to a tournament, and I went nuts trying to figure it out.
Happens.
Yeah, but no, that's and as far as the kayaks, I mean, our first tournament, we had a guy that built one out of wood, a kayak.
Yes.
We allowed canoes in them. We had canoes and we had rafts and everything else, and so yeah, it's come a long ways, and it's really neat to see all of that. But I will say this, and I say this a lot on other podcasts, is the true essence of kayak fishing. A lot of guys have never experienced that. They've gone right into the tournaments.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a different aspect from the early years to now too, is guys would go out and try kayak fishing first a lot and then get in tournaments. Now, I'm not to say it's not happening today, but I see a lot of guys go right into the tournaments.
I think a lot of people are pulled into it for the tournaments instead of the the low cost, the easy accessibility. They come in thinking, I've got to spend $8,000 to have all this stuff. Like, you can spend $800 and go have a ball kayak fishing.
Now, I will tell you, Ryan, I spent $235 on my first kayak, and I had a boat already too, but $235, and I had a fishing rod, and that's all I used. It was a few lures and that. So basically, it didn't cost me hardly anything, to do it. And then now, it's like every spare penny I have, it goes to kayak fishing.
Got a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
Joe Mack in the comments on YouTube, he said me throw it up here. He said, "There's no way I would have fished a second kayak tournament turning in SD cards."
it was tough sometimes. Like the length of time that it took felt. I mean, it wasn't as long as some of the other stories we've got that
even with the technology.
Yeah, but it took a while. It was a little frustrating. And Marty got me thinking about something. But my pre-kayak days, of course, a lot of you guys know my dad's a big fisherman. I grew up fishing out of a bass boat. But one of the things that we had a lot of fun doing was I'm trying to think what they call them. It's like the belly tubes, the big inner tube fishing tubes. I used to fish out of those. Yeah. And there's been people that have tournaments out of those. Like the tube. I don't even, is that what they're called, Marty? Like belly, I don't know. Fishing tubes. Like,
we actually had guys in our tournaments with those as well. They were
you put the fins on your feet and kick around.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Russ said when we had him on here one time, that's what he used to fish in California. Was like they had a trail of
I think that was BDH, man. I think that was
BDH. Was it? It was BDH. You're right. Okay. I knew it was one of the California transplants.
Yep. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to fish that way. It's different, but yeah.
I was thinking of 3 other changes here, guys, too, is, the women in the sport, and like today we have a few.
We got to get them out. That's ridiculous. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, it's a joke.
Clip that.
But,
it's a joke.
I looked at some of the pictures from the other day. I looked at some of the old tournament pictures. A third of the field was women in our tournaments here in Nebraska.
Yeah.
This is way back early days, and they had
y'all doing it right in Nebraska then.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the physical element has changed. I felt like I had an advantage because I could paddle and all that, and now it's the motor's the advantage. So the physical element isn't there like it was. We're pretty much like you disagree. We're kind of small plastic bass boat, one-man bass boat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so it's gone that way. And then the other change was from forums to social media. I mean the forums, Texas Kayak Forum was the big one, and Nebraska had a pretty good one too on the kayak side of it. But you would go to these forums, and that's where you'd find out information and people putting their stuff in there. I see Jay nodding his head. So,
oh man, I've still got bookmarks to all kinds of forums, man. Used to be all about it. I still visit them, but
you couldn't get banned and blocked for 3 or 4 days on that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. Marty said, you didn't even realize there were other people out there doing this back in 2004, right? Well, I mean, Facebook really hadn't gotten off the ground yet. Forums were sort of the thing, but they weren't even ultra popular yet. So yeah, you were kind of out there on an island wondering if you're the only ones doing it because.
Well, I mean, I went 6 years without ever seeing a live kayak. Never saw another kayak.
Yeah.
And the only ones I saw was on the internet. I reached out to Dennis Spike, Jim Sammons, and Chad Hoover. Those are the 3 that I knew about. And I reached out to them. I got a guided trip with Jim Sammons who took me out in the ocean, and I thought I was going to die. We went 3 miles out in a paddle kayak fishing for sharks.
That's crazy.
And that was adventure,
Yeah.
That's adventure, all right. Was it one of those little narrow 15-foot long kayaks too?
It was a 12-footer ocean kayak. And you use the tide to get out and the tide to get back.
That's dope. I like that. I miss the ocean kayaks. They're gone. They're rebranded and gone. Duc, we were talking about you building in Texas down there. How did you grow it when it started there? Did it really fire up with social media, or did you get it going before social media really took off? Because I don't see the sport anywhere near where it is without social, like a lot of other things, without social media.
100%. Like everybody else, I was really big into the forums, Texas kayak fishing, DFW kayak fishermen. But it was, I was really big into that because I was already big into the car scene. So I used to have a shop in my previous life. So I was really big into, all these rice burners and all this crap. But it just rolled into another stupid hobby. So
you're like, what's worse than rice burners? Oh shit, plastic boats. Got it.
Now look, seriously, did you ever think, Duc, from then getting into this sport now that it's literally your career? You run tournaments, but you work and manage Mariner sales. Did you ever think you'd end up there?
Yeah. Heck no. Heck
Yeah.
no, man. I mean, I bought my first kayak, on a whim. I wanted to go catch some redfish because I saw it on Texas Kayak Fisherman. I'm like, oh man, it'd be awesome to pull a redfish. So I bought it, and then like 2 weeks after I bought my damn kayak, Fairfield had a fish kill, and there was no more redfish over there ever since. So I literally bought my kayak and used it for a couple weeks, and then it sat there for like 2 years. And then,
I remember it's been 7 or 8 years ago now. I fished a Working Man's tournament with you as the first kayak fishing tournament I fished in Texas. I happened to be out there for work and meet Duke at like a boat ramp down the road from the Bass Pro on Grapevine one afternoon. But y'all did, I mean, that was kind of the growth process. Like people look at these huge tournaments and how we got here, but it used to be like 5 guys in a parking lot, with $10 cash in their pocket. That was the way it started.
Yeah, and I credit that a lot to Mariner Sales. A couple of guys started that Working Man's event, and I just took that over. I took that over, and then a year later, I decided, we needed something bigger. And with Guillermo, Scotch, they all got together with me, and we had this big powwow and wanted a big series for the North Texas area. So that's how all that started. But yeah, that Working Man's, it for a long time it grew. It went from 5 or 6 guys in the parking lot to some of these events we had about 50 or 60 guys on a Thursday afternoon show up. So it was fun.
You guys were talking about the SD cards and digital cameras and stuff, and I ran tournaments during those days. And while it is way more convenient, obviously, to have TourneyX and iAngler and all the different softwares, I sort of miss the days where everyone was forced to come and turn their SD cards in and hang out a little bit. Yeah. Y'all think there's any way we could ever get back to that using the technology we have, but having an aspect where we can turn it in? Cody Prather actually tried it at a TOC years ago where you had a live weigh-in with the digital images.
I remember that. I was there.
Yeah. It didn't go great because the technology wasn't there yet, but with the tech we have, could you guys ever see something like that happening? Because I sort of miss those days in a way.
Yeah. That's what I wish like Bassmasters would do when we're on this big stage is, you do see it, but I don't know. It's not, I don't know. It's not as pronounced as it should be, I guess. I don't know. It's like when Cody had on, we are in a smaller stage, I guess, and it looks really cool when it worked. Yeah. So.
Yeah. The only time I see it's like on a league night, guys hang around a little bit, but on most tournaments, a lot of the field goes home.
Yeah. I think we have to figure something out, and I don't mean have to or something's going to fail, but I mean have to bring that part back into the sport, because that's the reason a lot of us on here right now even know each other is from hanging out at rules meetings or, at the end of day one, mandatory in-person captains meetings, that kind of thing. Like you're forced to talk to people outside of your circle and make new friends. And, I think a lot of the new people coming into the sport that don't have like a posse that they run with or whatever, they kind of feel, like alienated or outsiders or something. They're not getting that opportunity to, have a funny story or watch me make a fool of myself or something like that. Like, I think we have to get that kind of personal stuff back into it.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. Yeah. I think COVID, the last event that I ever remember being that was the Hobie event at Lake Norman. After that, everything just completely changed.
Yep, me and Rich and Tim, we gave it a good run at Norman.
Yep. Yeah. I remember. We were at that racetrack. Yeah.
We had a good old time out there.
I want to go back. I want to get one of those cars and see if it'll do, 10, 15 miles an hour with my fat butt in it.
You have an opportunity coming up.
I'm going to get in I'm going to race, man. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to drink some bourbon and get in one of those race cars. Yeah.
All
right, I'm in.
Johnny Maddox on YouTube made a comment about the leaderboards. Turn the leaderboard off all day, and you have to show up to see it at the end of the day. And I tell you, the leaderboard's great, but I think we've all gotten spoiled to knowing the results basically all day until the end of the day. Maybe that. I mean, how would that be received if we started?
AJ's midday report would
Yeah.
Man.
I love the midday update. I love the midday update.
I like.
Although more people would watch the update if they didn't have the leaderboard to look
That's
at.
right.
People would be more curious.
That's true. That's
Right?
true. I would be a lot less motivated on day 2 without the leaderboard myself. Like I feel like I'm working toward a reason to get off the water at some point. So I don't know. That's just my own mindset. I think it would work. I think people would definitely have to participate in it. I like, it was the Bass Open Series that used to do the giveaways at awards, where they'd have stacks of rods and all kinds of accessories and stuff, and it was pretty much a must be present to win type deal. I think we have to figure out some kind of like motivating factor like that.
Are you saying bring back Terry Manley? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
I'm cool with that.
If anybody needs their butt adjusted,
has anybody heard from that dude in the last decade or so, or is he just?
I don't know. Man. I like Terry. I like old Terry.
Yeah, no, Terry was a good dude. Like, I like Terry. He's funny.
Yeah.
I just don't know what happened to him. He disappeared, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Terry.
We got the Yak Tribe man in the comments dropping knowledge on us.
I like it. Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys a couple questions, then we'll get into what the future holds. One, and you guys can, whoever wants to answer first and go around. What is the weirdest thing you remember doing pre-tech, pre-tourney X, pre-motors on Yaks and all that? What's the weirdest thing you remember seeing at these tournaments? Local, national, whatever.
Who did something weird?
That seemed normal at the time, but now you look back and you're like, what were we doing that for?
That's a tough one.
Taking pictures of our boats on the ramp.
Yeah.
It didn't prove anything.
using little bitty identifier stickers that nobody could read.
Yeah. That was a weird one for sure. Marty, I know you've seen it all.
I would say probably the paper checklist with the 3 dots on it, and you colored them in when you caught your fish.
Yeah.
And it was all honor system and
Scantron. Is it going on back there?
It was never a system back then.
How far do you think we would get with the honor system today?
No, it would not.
No, not far.
I had 179 inches.
Swear to God.
You didn't see me. It don't count.
Yeah.
The other thing is that we fish for multi-species.
Yeah, kayak wars. Kayak wars.
We had like the first tournament I ever put on was at Rock Creek. I think we had 9 species on there, and you tried to catch 3 of each one.
Oh wow!
And it was pretty good. And I was amazed at what people caught. And then when I spread it across the state here, we had an online deal for 3 or 4 months there, 1 species each month, and then we had a finale. So the only 2 tournaments that we had live for several years was the Kayakapalooza, and then we went, and then if you qualified to go to the Texas one, that was it. That's all we did.
Yeah.
And then the Spooky Bass came about, and then it was 3 tournaments, and now there's 400.
Dwayne Wally's throwing shade at the SD cards in the Ziploc. Of course he is. I mean, he's Mr. Tourney X.
I mean, he's made a substantial imprint on that ideology there.
I remember running tournaments in the SD card days. We had the buckets, and you'd put your 5 fish in one. But the monkey wrench in that plan was when people started using their smartphones instead of a digital camera. And we're like, what is this? We can't have this. We need your SD cards. And then we figured out how to look at their smartphones, and they had to include their code. Like, that was the craziest thing ever, that we had to look at their smartphone instead of an SD card.
We got some weird comments coming in. Van Tyne has his new baby boy. Congrats. River says, what's up, cesspool?
Oh, I love that name.
Josh Evans is watching us from the shower.
Wow. You must have an Android. You must have a Droid.
This will be in a museum someday. That's the original cameras we used right there.
Oh.
And I had it in a waterproof box. This is probably, I don't know, 12, 13 years old maybe.
I could have swore you were going to pull out a Polaroid camera, but you pulled out digital camera.
This was like this was the GoPro of, the dark ages. Kodak, this camera. It has a little place to put the back. Look at that! Look at that SD card. That's
Hey.
Full size too. Yeah.
Is that 4? Is that what it says? That's a
4 gigabyte.
4 gig. Yeah. Heck yeah. So you could get about a day's worth of fish on that one.
Yeah,
It's mine.
Oh my gosh! Everybody, we're flopping cameras here.
Look at this. It's amazing.
Nikon waterproof.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
It's a good time. This is amazing stuff.
Antiques.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, let me go find my
Jay's moving around 7 bottles of bourbon to get his camera out here.
Yeah, look, right here. Look, hang on. Look,
You can't sell them.
it's a
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Ooh, yeah. XP.
yeah. Still got it.
I'm
Probably got an SD card in it. It'll tell them what's on it.
Yeah, turn that on. Let's see.
Yeah, let's put that back where I found it.
Wow.
Oh boy.
So are y'all basically hoarders? How do you still have all
Well,
this
you
stuff?
can't. This stuff becomes obsolete in 6 months
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
How would y'all feel?
Technically, it still works. I mean, yeah.
What if we do a throwback tournament? No electronics, no apps. You got to have your SD card for weigh-in. What if we just take it all the way back to the beginning? Who's down?
I'm
I
game.
mean-
It'll be fun.
I'm already ready. We got our cameras. We're ready.
Let's go.
We're ready.
Let's go.
All 10 of us.
Meet me on Nickajack, boys.
And you can use a rusty old tape measure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use your leg tattoo ruler. That's what we'll do.
I've
There you
still
go.
got my white hog trough that bends all the way in half. So you guys are screwed.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. We got some great comments coming in. Jacob said his is next to his VCR and landline phone. Yeah. Good stuff.
Don't ever give up, brother.
Yeah. You know, we talked about social media a little bit earlier in technology in general, Tourney X, etc. I mean, where do you think, truthfully, where would this sport be? Because it's a niche of a niche. Where would it be without social media and or Tourney X or apps like that? Where would we'd be still mostly local trails with maybe a few opens that we've read about in a magazine. I don't know where Bassmaster, like the bass boat side, was established. They were doing their thing. They were going to grow. They had TV, but without social media and tech, I don't think we'd be halfway where we are. Maybe a quarter.
Well, Bassmaster wouldn't be doing kayak tournaments if it weren't for social media.
For sure.
That's for sure.
Yep.
We might still be having the TOC in Texas.
Bo Reed?
No.
Oh, hey.
Sting.
Zinger.
Wow.
I think obviously social media and the people that fish in this sport and put out the content, that's what has drawn the attention of these bigger sponsors, the sponsors that you see listed across the screen. Like, none of this stuff would have taken place, period, without social media. You know, we had local trails running, and you may have like one or two local sponsors, non-endemics or whatever, but nobody knew what we were doing. There wasn't people, you know, if you got 30 miles outside of Chattanooga, no one had a clue that, you know, Chattanooga bass yackers existed. that wasn't a thing. Like, social media is what made everything that you see here happen, and that's what's going to continue to keep it growing.
Yep.
I was trying to go back over here on the social media and find some old pictures that were in this is a new computer, so I don't have my old hard drive from my old laptop.
Why is everybody watching from the bathroom tonight? Steve-O's watching in the bathroom too. Y'all got to step out a little bit, boys.
Yeah. Get out of the bathroom. I'm going to show you. Were any of y'all part of this extravaganza? Look at this picture I just found.
Uh-oh.
The 2013 True Tournament of Champions.
Mm-hmm.
PKAA.
Yeah, I was in that.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were, Marty. I remember. How about that?
I think I was in the 2014. I don't know if I was at the 2013 or not. I don't think I was.
It was it was a much smaller turnout that
Yeah.
first year they had. It was the first year they did it, from what I understand.
Okay, yeah, I was at the next one.
Didn't Michael Cates win that one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure enough, did.
Yep.
Marty
Marcos
knows
messed up.
everything. Marty is a Rolodex of information.
That first one.
I remember taking Raff and Slifer from Kansas. I think he was 7th.
Yeah.
In that. But Kevin Slifer. I remember.
Yeah.
That.
What happened to him? He used to fish all the national tournament. What happened to him, Marty? He used to
I
fish
don't
all
know.
the big tournaments.
He was like the first Kansas guy.
Yeah.
You know.
I can't tell you who won a tournament last year. And Marty's like, well, back in 2011, he was 19th. It was raining that day.
Walking almanac for stats, buddy.
That's cool.
That's
very
awesome.
Cool.
Is that where PKA term was
No,
coined, you think, right there?
That just happened.
Okay.
Just happened. The Professional Kayak Anglers Association of America. It's like the dodgeball.
It's like AARP.
Yeah, AARP. Yeah, that was fun stuff. I wish I could find some old pics that we used to submit, because it's a travesty. They would never slide today. I mean, think about that, Duke. All the stuff you've judged over the years, would you allow the things we used to allow?
Oh, heck no.
I mean,
we used to allow open mouth as long as the bottom lip was touching.
Yeah, that was how we
manipulate
did it too.
the hell out of that thing to get.
Oh man! Oh, you just yeah.
You can manipulate a jaw to get some extra length.
Yeah.
As long as that bottom lip is touching the belt.
What are we talking about?
About fish pics, bro. Come on.
Yeah, the picture quality nowadays is so much better. You know,
Yeah.
even when we first started using digital imaging from on our phones, some of these phones, it had very grainy pictures and it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the cameras were like 4 megapixels or something.
Yeah,
you know, on the
yeah.
first camera phones, like they were trash.
Yeah, I think.
Well, when I first started, we just drew the picture of the fish that you got.
Marty laid a piece of paper over and took coal and just made a little photo.
Papyrus etchings.
That is bizarre.
Who's going to jail right now?
Where's the sirens? Where's that
Not
at?
mine.
I think it's my house.
Okay, that makes sense.
No worries.
East
Jay.
Kentucky. Somebody must put the hot meth sign on out in the,
Yeah.
out in the window.
Yeah, but it's fresh.
I do want to mention too, Jeff and Ryan, about one big thing about kayak fishing, how many lives have been changed by it. Whether professionally with jobs or just being fishing, or maybe it just saved them, mentally and physically, in that realm.
I think that's why. I mean, I know that was a big thing of why I got so deep into kayak fishing, like going through a divorce or whatever. Like that was like kind of a release. It was peaceful. I didn't have to worry about any of the crazy stuff going on. And you hear that story a lot. No matter what people are going through in their lives, some ex-military guys, it's like a therapy for them. Kind of an outlet. Same deal. I think that's played a huge role in a lot of the community.
Yeah, Trey Dawson, he's on here. He just said amen there. He just did a podcast about his life, and it's an incredible story and what kayak fishing has done for him. And, I just, those kind of things make me feel good about the kayak fishing thing, regardless of what happens.
Yep. And I made some of the best friends I have in my life through kayak fishing too. Like, I think that's, when you have a network of people that you can call across the country and they'll do whatever, you could ask for anything. Like, hey man, I need to borrow a car for a week. Done. Like, I mean, seriously, how many people have we all had come stay at our homes and give them kayaks and rods and reels and, bring them to your family dinners and stuff. Like, it's crazy how this sport's kind of pulled so many people together.
Yeah, we joke about the community and doing things for the community, but it's a real thing. I mean, it is a real thing. People step up when you least expect it. It's amazing. So good stuff out there.
Yeah, I've had a lot of guys come up to the shop and tell me, after the year's over, after the first year of actual fishing tournaments and trails and stuff, they, just mention how much they've enjoyed it and how much they, saved their sanity, So it's been real eye opener for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and how you really know that you're cared for is when you get made fun of on our group page. That's how you really know that we love you and care for you. No, it's great. It's a fantastic community, and literally all the best friends I have, and all of you can probably say the same thing, came out of fishing these tournaments and getting around locally, regionally, nationally, whatever, meeting all these different people.
100%.
Yeah.
You like to suffer together.
That's right. That's right. We understand each other, all of us. Yeah, we've kind of reminisced a bunch tonight and talked about, what we've seen in the past, but let's talk about what we expect. I mean, it's 2024. I think I shared a meme with one of our group chats that we're closer to 2030 than we are to 2017 now. So we're we're heading on down the road. What do you guys foresee in the future for this sport? I mean, not just from a technology standpoint, but from a growth in the tournament side of things standpoint. Either or. What's the first, jump in tech we're going to do? I didn't think we'd be where we're at now with DP, dual power, and live scope and all the things we're looking at. And then the tournaments. I mean, BOS and Bass are growing exponentially. What's coming down the road, you guys think 5-10 years from now?
Boy, I think the Bassmaster grows even more. I think it becomes big time. Nothing gets Hobie. Hobie does a great job. AJ does a great job there. I just think that the Bassmaster, with the media presence and how established they are, it's gonna. We haven't seen what it's really gonna be like in a few years. It's gonna be a lot bigger.
Yeah. I would love to see. What I liked seeing before was some of the live feeds going on with the team tournaments. I would like to see that move on, or Bassmasters pull something like that. The biggest hurdle is service. That's the biggest hurdle. That's gonna be awesome if they can get it done, because that will just elevate it so much.
Yeah.
I think Duc nailed it. I think it's the service aspect of it. If you ever get something like Elon's Starlink, if that thing ever really works the way he says it will, and you start getting full 4 or 5G service at these lakes out in the middle of nowhere, and you can actually afford to live stream these events, that's when the game literally changes. That's when it really takes a leap, because then you're able to reach audiences live, and that's where the dollars come in. That's where everything changes.
I think the reason that I feel like the Bassmaster part is the key is because they already have all of that established. They have camera crews, they have satellite trucks, they have the ability to stream it now. But what we have to show as a product, do we have the audience that's going to watch it? So, are they going to invest those resources into the kayak fishing side? And I would love, and I'm sure, it'll be a down the road next year or the year after thing, but can we show them enough return and enough support to where they're going to take that chance? And, maybe they just cover the championship or whatever, but just roll the dice on it and see what the reception is. Because I definitely think that is the next evolutionary step. Like, we can argue motors and pedals and blah, blah, blah. We're not going backward. Like, we're at a point to where you're not going to go back to nothing. Like, it's not going to happen. It's going to continue. Any technology that you see come out on a bass boat will be implemented on a kayak. We just need to accept that.
The other thing is that Bassmaster, not to say they're any better than anybody else, but they do have a grassroots level in every state, where you can try to qualify without doing all the opens that we're traveling to doing. There's different ways to do it. I think that'll expand even more.
Yeah, you've seen it now. There were 2 or 3 states that were doing it right from the beginning, but now it's up to, we probably got 15 or 16 states that have really put forth the effort. The Texas schedule is just a hammer factory. When y'all drop that one, that's pretty much a national trail just right in Texas. It was like, oh, all right, well, they're taking that pretty serious, I guess.
Yeah.
There's
people down there literally that probably will say, I don't need to travel. I'll just stay here this year.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I don't think, a lot of people get hung up on the motors and the electronics and the materials that our kayaks are made of and all that stuff. That stuff will change over time, but it's not going to change the landscape of what we do. Like, it'll move forward, but that stuff's not the big change that I think you'll see. I think it's, like what Marty said with bass, if they can figure out, like Steve Fields and I have had this conversation a million times about what he would like to do, live streaming and all that stuff. And whoever can unlock that, and Bass has the keys to it, obviously, to do it. But whoever can unlock that and get that part figured out, I think that's where, you'll start getting different tiers of events, like what we've talked about with the state club. Like, Bass is already doing it. Like, it's it's forming right now. Like you're going to get different tiers of events, just like they did with the bass boat world. I mean, there's Bass Nation, Bass Boat Series. There's the the Opens. Then there's the Elite Series. Like I could see that forming if they get the live stream part of it going. I think that's the evolution of it.
And every piece of technology that's ever existed really gets cheaper over time.
Oh yeah.
So to buy a kit to live stream is unbelievably expensive right now. Live stream back to a truck and do whatever you got to do with it. But over time, will the affordable options be there to where it is more affordable and feasible from an ROI standpoint to do it? We'll see.
Over time, you'll be able to hit a button on your phone and turn on your live stream, and they can go down the leaderboard and click a direct link to your GoPro or your phone. That'll be the trick.
I've been saying it. You got to have direct access to the angler's cameras where you can turn them on.
That'll be the trick. But I don't know how. It'll probably be 5-10 years before we get there. But that'll be the trick.
I'll be in the home by then.
The other thing is, a lot of kayak guys are on a budget, and so traveling to Susquehanna.
Who's on a budget out here, Marty? Shoot,
a budget.
Selling
used kayaks for $6,000.
I am this week.
Yeah, going to Susquehanna is great. It was an epic trip for me. Or planning to go to Lake Murray, South Carolina. Some are going to Florida. There's Nebraska guys going to the Florida event here coming up a couple weeks, I think. But if there was some way of having regionals like they do with the bass boats, where you have 3 in the west, 3 in the middle, and 3 in the north, 3 in the south, that type of thing would take off too, and you qualify that way. That would really help a lot. But then the other thing is the option to fish, more than that as well. But I see us going that direction as well. Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, we've talked about this a bunch of times on the show. Is there ever going to be I hate to call it a pro series, but something you have to qualify for?
Yes.
Will there ever be something of that 100%? Form?
There will eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'll see it start out with like a top 50 or something, and I think it'll have to be sponsor driven, to where the money is put up front by a large title sponsor. That way, entries aren't astronomical, but where you see big payouts at every series event, every trail stop.
Yeah.
The entry fees will go up quite a bit with that too.
Oh, I'd say, and this is spitballing numbers, but I think you have to see something like 2,500 or more entry fee.
Yeah. It'll eventually get to that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I won't be alive.
Yes, you will, Marty.
Yeah, Marty.
Surprise, we're doing it next year. Haha, gotcha, Marty. Y'all send me your checks now. $2,500.
That's my whole Social Security check.
You can direct deposit to Attorney X. That's the next feature.
This is tax deductible, Marty. We can help you out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wow. Steve Field says 3 to 5 years away. Okay, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. Steve's been on this for a long time. Like he and I've talked about it a lot, and it is like whoever can unlock that magic combination of live viewership and getting the audience there, that's when you start appealing to non-endemic sponsors. Like we go after the same group of sponsors, and they're all fishing related sponsors. Yeah. And nobody wants to invest big dollar. Like Pepsi doesn't want to come in and spend money if there's no viewers. I mean, and there's no view. Yeah, I mean, it's Mountain Dew, baby, Kentucky. But that's the key, I think, to where this is going to go eventually.
Yeah.
To a lot of people, it's still considered a hobby. They consider it a hobby.
Yep.
Well, but I mean, look at, we talk about ROI all the time. The ROI is not there for it to be anything other than a hobby right now. Like, I mean, you can structure your life to where you can survive on $20,000, but as far as like, just actual living goes, it's not a lot of people have the luxury to be able to chase it as a full-time job right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not there yet, but hey, I hope I live to see it. That'd be amazing. Dwayne says he thinks sooner. Okay, Dwayne, you got some inside info over there, Dwayne. We've got some questions and comments I want to put up as we get up against an hour here. Travis Randall from Eco Fishing, he thinks you're going to see more big bass 250 style tournaments, more one-off big payout events. I could see that. I can see that happening.
I think there's room for that still. And I think we saw it with that native series. I think that proved, that there is a space in there to grow something else. I think as far as traditional 5-fish tournaments, we're at a saturation point. I think there's, different tiers from grassroots to state level to national. But as far as the national level goes, I think you're now starting to see, that we've kind of capped that out.
Yeah.
There's still room on those trails to hold more anglers, but
right.
There is not an angler. There, you could almost live anywhere, and you have more things to fish than you have time and money to fish. There's enough tournaments out there to keep everybody busy. The growth isn't going to be in tournament trails per se, but it's going to be in attendance at some of these events, and then I'm going to be curious to see how different levels develop in this game.
For sure. Let me get back to some more of these comments and questions. This is more of a comment from 3 the Hard Way on YouTube. He says, tournaments are an outlet for a lot of former athletes that miss competitions. And I'll 100% say the only reason I got into kayak fishing was for the competition. I saw there was a local group. I went and bought a kayak, and boom, there it was.
I agree. So, I agree with that. Because, a guy my age, I'm very limited in what I can do as far as competitions. There's chess and checkers, I guess, but I don't really get outside and do something and compete, And, of course, there's pickleball, but that's not I just don't get into that stuff. But anyway, the fishing game, anybody can do it,
we think we can anyway.
I mean, you can, I don't know, young or old or whatever, you can get into it and have a lot of fun with it.
Adam Milstead's a great example of that. Former pro UFC fighter, still had that competitive itch, and now he's all in on kayak fishing. Just to kind of keep him running.
Trying to get over on Instagram. If you got a question on Instagram, throw it up there. I'll try to catch it. I haven't been doing a good job of looking at those. It doesn't pipe into this feed, so I don't see them live. Chris Cabral over on YouTube. In kayak and bass boat fishing, do you think the drama is from the purity of the sport is fading?
I don't know if it's from the purity of the sport fading. I think it's when you bring more people, just numbers-wise, statistically, the more people you have involved in something, the more differing opinions or different allegiances, if you will, you see more of that. As it grows numbers-wise, you're going to run into a rusty nail every now and then.
Well, and it's not just kayak fishing; it's everything on the planet. Look at the cornhole tournament trail.
Amen.
There's so much. You got Jake Malott over there stirring up all kinds of crap every weekend.
It's unbelievable. They've got cornholiosis, according to Matt.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
If you don't think there's drama at the bowling alley on Wednesday night league night, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah,
there's going to be drama and nonsense no matter what.
College football. I mean, it's everywhere. MLF. Look at the MLF BASS stuff. People want to sit and throw shade. Oh, there's so much drama in kayak fishing. That doesn't even compare. These guys are losing $300,000 next week because of something somebody said. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, it's groups. You could have a group of people weaving baskets or whatever, and then there's going to be arguments and fights.
Bum fights. In case you've never been on the website, bum fights, man.
Bum fights.
Anybody can get into it. It don't matter.
Yeah, got some bum fights in this sport. It's crazy. All right. From Facebook, Michael Thomas. Is there anything that you guys don't like about the new era of kayak fishing?
Everything we just talked about for the last 58 minutes.
I guess we're calling now the new era. Yeah.
Oh boy, I know, Michael. I'm gonna go out there, and I have one. I'm gonna say motors. I just think that I like the pedals and the paddle, but the motors really took a lot of the physical element out of it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I got to give you a quick story. I'm up at La Crosse, and there's 10 of us at the boat ramp. 9 have motors, and I don't. And I went 45 minutes with side by side with Jackson North, a motor, and we get there, and I felt like I just ran a marathon, when I got there. So that's when I said to myself, you know what, I got to get a motor, so at least I'm not drained for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Jackson was just sitting there like looking at TikTok too, wasn't he? While you were running, just pissing you off.
He said, "No, I remember him saying he goes, I got 14% left on my motor, and that was actually on the way there."
You had to give him a ride back.
No, I don't know. You think he pedaled back?
Wow.
Might have had to tow me back.
I do. I mean, I don't know. I do hate the advancement in the technology part. Like, I liked it better when, honestly, I liked it better. Nobody had fish finders or anything. Like, we just put it in at a random ramp and, 18 dudes paddled off into the night, and hopefully somebody could find 3 fish. But now, as things advance and you have sponsor involvement in things, a lot of it's business. A lot of that comes into play, and I think, like I said, I don't think we're going to go backwards. I think you're just going to see more and more things come into it. It was great 9-10 years ago when several of us locally here got into it. It was pure and clean then, and now it's this big. You better bring a checkbook with you when you jump into the big stuff.
It's so funny. The dudes with like pedals and everything are calling themselves the purist.
Yeah. I was paddling a 14.5-foot native sit-in side back in those days.
I don't know, Duke. What you run a shop, one of the best shops in the country, right? And obviously one of the best in Texas. Is there a danger point where you can go too far with not the technology on the boats, but the boats themselves? I mean, people already laugh at the calling a lot of these things kayaks. They're like, these ain't kayaks, these are mini bass boats. Is there a point that we can get too far with the design of the kayaks, or is that something that can just keep pushing as well?
I think there's a lot more to be pulled out of these kayaks, because speed and stability wise, I feel that we can go a little bit quicker and a little bit, but it needs to be safer. There's way too many times where people don't realize what they put in their boat, and undercompensate for the weight, and then get in rough waters. They don't pay attention to how crazy the weather gets, and then they flip and they have no way to get out of that trouble. So that's where the danger comes in, is not knowing your equipment.
Yeah. What about you, Jay or Marty? I mean, is there a point too far with the design of these things?
Well,
I mean, go ahead, Marty.
Wait, no, go ahead, Jay. I'll listen to you here.
Well, I was just going to say, as far as motors and all that stuff go, I mean, these boats can only go so fast. They're not going to go much more than 6-7 miles an hour, no matter what you put on it. So, I don't know.
Levi.
I mean,
Levi's a big man.
What do you think, Marty?
Well, I run a Hobie Outback, and when I had everything on there, I'm like, this is getting a little bit dangerous. And so I took off some things, and so right now what I'm doing is trying to strip it down as much as I can to make it as light as I can. And so I took some things off, and the motor is only for me is only when I want to get a point A to point B faster than anybody else. It's a long ways away. I don't, but I think that if you get a kayak going 7-8 miles an hour and you hit a stump, you're going to have a serious accident there.
Yep.
We've seen that before.
And then you're looking at seat belts.
Yeah.
Helmets and seat belts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
But there is a danger to that, because we've all hit stumps. And the other thing is you're looking at conditions, foggy, rain, with a distance you cannot see in front of you very far, visibility wise. And I think it becomes an issue then when you because there's guys that want to get there first, wherever they're going. And that's the key. Or they want to change spots and do milk runs, So we've added that element. And is it going to be good for the sport? I don't know. But so far we haven't had any issues. But I think once you get past that 5 miles an hour, I think it starts getting more dangerous.
Yeah.
I think it gives you a false sense of confidence. Like, we're out on these like I almost sank mine down on Toledo Bend. Like my hull was completely full of water. But in my head, I'm bulletproof, and I can get across this slough with 30-mile-an-hour winds, and I'm going to make it fine. But there, anything can go wrong. You don't know what it is that's going to fail or what's going to put you in that position. I think from a kayak brand standpoint, engineering wise, we're seeing kind of a catch up in advancements. That Native Titan X is a great example to where they're thinking about things like, the battery below the water line centered in the kayak, stuff like that, where it's engineered for motors and batteries and electronics instead of, we're just crazy strapping on the biggest motor and battery that we can find, that, where we actually have platforms that are built to handle this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Jacob made a comment on Facebook, 26 foot long, made of fiberglass, shiny paint. So, and he's making a joke of that, but think about stuff like the Bayak in the Blue Sky and those things being in the kayak space. Is there a design that has gone too far? I mean, is it like, can they come up? What if they make one that looks just like a freaking John boat and call it a kayak? I mean, is there a cutoff point to that?
I don't know what the line is. I don't know what the line is.
A Gillette razor.
So it's funny you bring that up, though. I mean, we talk about advancements and cost and what's the next evolution. I wouldn't be shocked if it's not a carbon fiber, a really engineered carbon fiber fishing platform or Kevlar or whatever, something super lightweight. I think that's the next step in this, is now moving to lighter weight things that are still going to be durable instead of, heavy rotomolded plastic.
That's what Rick Jackson that made one of those?
Yeah, EJ. Yep. Yeah, the Apex. But again, I think that missed the mark on some stuff. I think if you took something like that and actually integrated, things like where to mount your sonar and bow mount trolling motor or something, and you address things like, I think there's potential for it. I'm not going to spend 10 grand on a hull, but somebody will.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you can't do too much more with the shape from the top down. All these kayaks kind of look alike as it is, so maybe it's the materials. I like that.
Yeah.
Any more questions for these gentlemen, or any more comments you want me to throw up? Throw them in the comments here, and I'll try to get them on the screen. Same thing over on Instagram. I'll try to catch anything.
There was somebody mentioned wet bar here, Tim Boyden, but I took the barbecue off too, so I just want you guys to know that.
Marty's really cutting back nowadays.
Yeah. Corey says it's going to take a very special, very expensive kayak / boat to overtake what we have now. I think we all thought that 5 years ago too. So, and here we are.
True.
With $25,000 boats on the expo floor at the classic being sold off the floor.
on the floor that day, taken home.
Yeah. So I don't know where it goes from here. I guess the cool thing about kayak fishing will always be this: you don't ever have to do that.
Correct.
Like you could drop it in off the back of your truck with a paddle and one rod and still compete if you wanted to. You never have to do it.
Yeah, I saw somebody, I've seen a lot of comments recently like, oh, they're pricing people out. Well, I mean, I think that's a bad attitude. Like, there is something on every financial level scale in this sport to appeal to people. Like, you can easily go and find a club that's charging $35, $45, $50 to fish a tournament. You don't have to go and immediately jump into one of these $200-$300 tournaments. Like, I've been around bass fishing tournaments for a long, long time, and I can tell you right now, a $300 entry fee ain't nothing. Yeah. Like, some of these bass boat tournaments have real entry fees. Like,
I mean, that's usually like your local pull up to the ramp is $100 each.
Absolutely. Like, our entry fees are very, very affordable compared to other fishing tournaments. And like I said, there are plenty of tournaments out there that are charging $35, $45, $50 to get into. So I kind of cringe when I see that, these tournament trails are just trying to price people out or are pricing people out.
It's not only that part. They say stuff like that. You can cherry pick which tournaments you fish. You can go fish the Susky, and how many times has a winner had a motor or live scope in play? And,
Yeah.
you know, the last 8 tournaments we've had on the Susky, go fish that if that's what you want to do. But I have terrible news. You're going to get beat by those same anglers that that own motors and live scope, not because, you know, they're using them in that event, but because they're better anglers. Like we see it all the time. Like you have good people. It doesn't matter what you give them, but of course, if they can afford it, they're going to have all the tools possible.
Sure.
And I think that's a
There's
smart
always
way to be.
somebody with a nicer rig. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. We got a lot of comments about this. People saying it's a cop out. Joe Mack on YouTube. People complaining about getting priced out. I'll have a $1,200 cell phone. I'll be smoking this thing. Yeah, you right about that, Joe.
I got that 15 titanium, baby.
Yeah, you're right about that. It's a matter of where you choose to spend that money, right? That's what it is. Mike Wimmer says sell more plasma. Yeah.
Hey.
3 the hard way. Marlin sailfish tourney fees. I saw Wes the Gray in the comments. She's watching the live stream. She knows about that offshore big time fishing out there in the Gulf. I mean, real. You talk about entry fees. Holy hell!
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, it's more than my car cost to enter that
I
tournament.
have Michael Jordan to pay my fee.
Yeah, for real. Josh said leave his cigs alone. They
made cigarettes, Josh. I know you.
Yeah, that stuff's expensive, man. Yeah, I don't know how many Excalibur crankbaits he has to support all them different things, but he's doing it. He's doing it over there. Well done, Josh. Yeah, Wes, you do know. Anything else for these guys, Ryan? We've been going a little over an hour now. It's been a great show. It's exactly what I hoped it would be. It's a little reflection on the past and a little talk about what's going to happen.
No, I don't have anything else for them. Just a thank you to each one of you, because like I said, I mean, this whole game that we're playing in right now wouldn't be where it was without the people that we've got on here tonight.
Amen.
Let me get a picture, you guys. Hold on.
Hey, send me that SD card.
That one will keep right there, baby.
Mail the SD card to Jeff.
Yeah, please. No, that's
You got to figure out how to print that out.
Yeah. Hey, I'll echo what Ryan said. Amazing work over the years, guys. I know you got a lot of years of doing this left in you. So well done for what you've done so far and what you're going to do in the future, man. Happy New Year to all of you.
Happy New Year's, y'all.
Happy New Year.
Yeah,
There we
guys did a
go.
Good job.
That was show.
Yep.
That was fun, man. Those guys.
Let's
are
give
awesome.
away some sunglasses. What do you say?
Let's give away some glasses and get these guys out of here. Everybody knows what it's going to be. There's no secret to how we do the giveaway. It's going to, wait a minute. I got to change the hashtag though. It's hashtag Revo to win. I had it still from last time. It'd been weird to throw hashtag BOS up on the screen.
I mean, whatever.
Hashtag Revo for a chance to win the glasses. Throw that in the comments. Any last minute comments you have about the show, throw that in there too. That was fun, man.
That was good. I mean, if you talk about a wealth of kayak knowledge, I mean, right there was, 50 plus years of experience there we just had on here.
Yeah. First show of 24 in the books. We've had Twitchers and Xers all night long, along with the YouTube and Facebook group. So I see them in the comments. That's awesome. We're starting to get a foothold over there on those other platforms, right?
Boy, I've been thinking about that quite a bit, staying up at night, hoping the tweeters and what's that other Twitchers,
The Rumblers.
Rumblers really get on board with us.
Look, that's my job. I'm over there worrying about those people. All right.
If we can go live every week and the page isn't shut down, I'm usually pretty happy. I don't really care where it broadcasts to, as long as we can put it somewhere.
Yeah. See, people have always said we're a unique pair because we both, I'm over there worried, being neurotic about where we're streaming and who's commenting where, and then you bring the flavor, the color to the show, right? That's what we did.
I'm out there with a baseball bat trying to get people to mail their checks. Oh boy.
We've got well over 100 people on the live, but only 64 entries. So I'll give it another few seconds before we do this draw. Maybe 64 people have already won the glasses, so they don't want to enter again. Who knows?
Chris Hogan called us the Yin Yang Twins.
Yin Yang Twins. Yeah.
So that's pretty.
Yeah, Trey. So this is what I put on X. I said, hey, we're looking. Our New Year's resolution over there is to hit 1,000 followers. We're up in the 800s. So if you don't follow us on Twitter, get over there and follow us on Twitter.
I don't even. Do I follow us on Twitter? I don't even know if I have a Twitter, to be honest with you.
Yeah, my original Twitter got banned, so all I have left is KBN.
Okay.
My Jeff Malott Twitter got kicked for saying something like election related or something like that.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't have a Twitter initially, but I guess I can do one now.
Yeah.
Now that Elon's burned it to the ground,
Yeah.
might as well go ahead and get on there.
Freedom. All right, let's do this drawing. Here we go.
Butter jelly time.
You lost your chance. You waited too long. Here we go. Pi squared. I guess there's some cool YouTube names. The one thing I like about YouTube is it's all these fake. Josh Evans.
Josh Evans.
Look at him. Look at him, my man, Josh Evans.
See, I'm glad you got out of the shower for this one, Josh.
I'm gonna hit
Congrats.
the draw again button. No, I'm just kidding. Josh. There you go. Straight from the shower, maybe the toilet. Josh Evans wins the race.
Josh, great news. You get a code on this one so you can get your sunglasses sent to your house. You don't have to wait on me to send you 3 prize packs in one box.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Man, that was fun, right?
Oh yeah, we're back. We're back at it. Sorry we took 2 weeks off. I didn't even pay attention to the fact that Christmas and New Year's were falling both on Mondays like that, but
yeah,
we know now.
And the little best of clip show that I put up actually did really well. Got a lot of views, some solid comments.
I was reading comments on it. I had comments popping up on my feed, and we weren't even there.
Yeah, there we go. We out there.
Everybody begging for the code now.
Let me drop in the comments. First to use it, it's the glasses. That'd be fun one night. Like Thunderdome.
All right, what are we? We'll come up with something great for next week. Don't worry, we're gonna get back to it here. Pen and pad. We won't miss one for a while now.
Amen. All right, we're going, y'all.
Later.